To you the Sports Spotlight every Sunday morning between 10 a.m. and noon. All right, we're going to wrap up the cricket, specifically the IPL conversation. As we said, that second match, now the second innings, RCB has started batting, and they're sitting at having hit two fours on the first two deliveries. Just, I think, I think they're going to make short work of this. Jacob Bethel has faced two deliveries, scored two fours, eight off of two, strike rate of 400, facing a target of 167. So where does that leave us on the points table? All right, well, it's a logjam. We talked about what a logjam it was last week. I think it's gotten tighter since then. Sunrisers are leading the pack, but sitting at 7-4, 14 points, two for each victory. Net run rate of 0.737. The Gujarat Titans are tied at 14, but behind on the net run rate of only 0.228. 7-4, 14 points. Third place, the Punjab Kings, 6-3 with a no result. Yeah, they had that no result against KKR. You know, they're going to say, man, we could have had one more point. But I think KKR is going to say, man, we could have had one more point and been sitting at 10 points with Punjab Kings at only 12. So I don't want to start my rant about weather and the no result games. Not today. But yeah, you can't really use that argument if we had played out the game, because KKR could claim that as well. So Punjab Kings sitting at third place with those 13 points, a better run rate than the second place Gujarat Titans. So I mean, that's the difference, right? If they had had the result and they had won, they would be in second place, just percentage points behind the Sunrisers of Hyderabad. So yeah, every match matters, and yes, net run rate matters, especially for the fourth place team, RCB. RCB is now sitting at, after 10 games, 10 matches, 6-4, 12 points. But they have a net run rate better than anybody else. 1.234 is their net run rate. They've had some big wins, but 4 losses, only 6 wins, 12 points. But boy, they've got some. RCB just lost a wicket. Oh my goodness. Virat Kohli for a golden duck. Yeah. That's not great. Chahar came in. He did throw a wide to the first delivery Kohli faced, but wide, so no delivery. So technically, it is a golden duck. First playable ball. He's gone. Just sliced it over to Baba. I think he caught it. Yeah. So Kohli's gone. That's going to change things a little bit. All right. Where's our table? Back to it. So RCB with that huge net run rate, but sitting in fourth place with 12 points, tied with 12 points with CSK. Although CSK has played one more match and lost one more match, sitting at 6-5 instead of 6-4 like RCB, but with 12 points with those 6 wins. Fifth place. Sixth place, Rajasthan Royals, also 11 matches played, 6-5, 6 wins, so gets them 12 points. So a log jam, friends and neighbors, log jam at the top 6, and then 7 and 8 are not terribly behind. 9 points for KKR, 8 points for DC. I think DC is pretty far out. They're sitting at 4-7. They've played 11 matches at only 8 points. KKR 4-5-1, 9 points, 10 matches total. Well, 9 matches played and 1 not played. 10 matches counting. Sitting at 9 points. Have a shot. They have an outside shot. Could KKR do in the IPL what the Hyderabad Kingsmen did in the PSL? Who knows? That's what keeps cricket so exciting. Anything can and does happen. All righty. Well, with that, we are going to swivel the spotlight. Bye-bye, cricket. Hello.
He'll take it. He'll backpedal, a free for the win. And
that's the one that bounced up. That's the one that bounced up about 15 feet. He almost tried to get a 3. He almost tried to get a 3. Actually, that is a 3. Did that 3 tie things up? No, I think his foot was on line. That's what it was. He tried backing up, but ended up launching it with his foot on the line. So instead of winning 126-125, they tied it 125-125. If I remember correctly, they did take it to overtime and won the game. But that was a huge, huge game. That bounce up at least. And yeah, it was just the toe touching the line. Otherwise, the game would have been over right there. Halliburton was just insane. Just absolutely insane last year in the playoffs. Well, with that, let's talk about the playoffs that are going on right now, shall we? The NBA playoffs are in full swing. I'm pulling up the bracket right now so we can talk about it. All right. So I think we had covered both with who did I have last time? I think Shep was out. Manny and I talked. So OKC made short work of Phoenix. Expected. The Lakers beat the Rockets. Unexpected. The Minnesota Timberwolves, after losing DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards, and then making sort of short work of Denver. Not expected at all. And then San Antonio kind of rolling over Portland. Very, very much expected. Those are the matchups. San Antonio, Minnesota, Lakers, OKC. On the other side, Orlando gave the first-seeded Detroit everything they could handle. I think that was we saw this team growing up. We saw this team gaining that confidence. We saw this team gaining that experience that we talk about, right? Young teams, they don't know how to win. Young teams, they have not participated at the highest level of competition in their sport yet. How are they going to, how is the crucible of the playoffs going to affect this young team? Is it going to crush them? Is it going to turn them into pure gold? Well, it almost crushed them. They were down 3-1 as the first seed, coming in at the insane number of wins, the season that they had with all those expectations. They were down 3-1 to Orlando. To come back and win that game 7 was just insane. We'll get to the game 7 and then the series, because I think that game 7 was on tap that Sunday. Last Sunday was crazy. 2 big games 7 we had, and it was great. So let's jump into it right off the bat. That game 7, after being down 3-1, they had come back to tie it at home, playing the Magic. And Paolo Banchero did everything in his power, everything in his power to win the game for his team. It's just that nobody else did anything at all. Desmond Bain, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Carter Jr., 13, 5 and 2. Suggs, he disappeared. 6, 4 and 4, but 2 of 9. Anthony Black just hasn't seemed right since he came back from injury. Before injury, I was talking about my maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about my fantasy basketball team. Aaron Black, I think his name is Aaron. He's a young kid. I don't even know. Anthony Black. I picked him up. Local kid from right up the street here. Our studios, Radio Azad, where your voice matters. Our studios right here in Irving. Las Colinas is literally a stone's throw away. Local kid, Las Colinas, went to school at Arkansas and is now absolutely making a name for himself with the Orlando Magic. I picked him up on that fantasy football team as he was ascending, and then he he helped me to a lot of victories with his unexpected play. And then he got injured, and he just hasn't been right since he came back. And this pivotal must-win game, he did have 5 steals, but 4 of 12 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3. Just not enough. Not enough help for Banchero, who ended up 14 of 25 from the floor, 38 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and a block. But just not enough. Because on the other side, this Detroit team, I got to tell you, this Detroit team is strong, and it starts at the top. Cade Cunningham has completely come into his own. Again, a local Dallas kid from Arlington, I believe he is. Went to school at Oklahoma State. And in his 4th year in the NBA, he has arrived. He has arrived. As I said, this was a coming of age, right? We saw them growing up in this series. Cade Cunningham, 10 of 18, 4 of 6 from 3, 8 of 10 from the stripe, 32 points, 12 assists with 2 blocks. Yeah. And brought down the turnovers, only turned it over 4 times. Look, primary ball handler, they're always going to turn over the ball, right? If they're stands to reason. If they're handling the ball 80% of the time, 70% of the time, whatever it is, they're going to have more turnovers than everybody else. I mean, point guards just do. And that's what separates the good ones from the great ones, that the great ones can actually keep that assist to turnover ratio really, really low. Dennis Jenkins is another. By the way, Cunningham did deal with, I talked about how I had Tyrese Maxey and Cunningham. Cunningham did get hurt, and I immediately picked up Dennis Jenkins, and Dennis Jenkins was a good fill-in for Cunningham. He's no Cunningham, but he was a good fill-in, and that experience helped. In this pivotal Game 7, Dennis Jenkins, coming off the bench, 16 points on 5 of 8 field goals, 4 of 5 from 3 points. Yeah, that'll do. When your stud star point guard, Cade Cunningham, is giving you 32 and 12, and his backup is getting 28 minutes and getting you 16, 3, and 5, yeah, that'll do. The Pistons winning this one big after a huge second quarter where they scored 40. The Magic had a 2-point lead at the end of the first quarter. The Pistons outscored the Magic 40-27, and then really clamped down in the third, outscoring the Magic 23-15. outscoring them by 8, and then just cruising home in the fourth. 116-94. Pistons win. Pistons win. Pistons advance. Pistons move on to the second round past Orlando. All right. Well, we had one more Game 7 on Sunday. We'll get to that in a minute. Got to tell you about Luminous Market, who are presenting Texas's biggest cultural festival, a grand celebration of culture, creativity, and community. Eid Betak brings together over 100 vendors from across North America and Canada, making it one of the largest South Asian lifestyle festivals to take place in Texas. This is going to be Monday, the 25th, which is Memorial Day, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Frisco Flyers, 6300 Flyers Way. Handpicked designers of clothing and fine jewelry, showcasing premium craftsmanship and elevated Eid fashion, mehndi stalls, curated food stalls, offering festive flavors and regional specialties. Lifestyle and home products, live entertainment will be included. A full live band will be there. For more information, please call 972-971-2206 or 817-647-5827 or 732-789-3347. All right. Let's get to that other Game 7, shall we? The Raptors, surprising Raptors, had tied it 3-3 going into Cleveland for Game 7. Look, this was a 4-5 matchup that nobody thought was much of a matchup, right? I'm sure revisionist history folks are going to say, no, I knew Raptors were. Nah. Almost everybody was picking Cleveland to win this one when the series started. The Raptors surprised everybody, including the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Just sit back and enjoy it, Cleveland.
But one game, winner take all, Game 7. What did I say last Sunday? That, I would pick Cleveland in a heartbeat, except the biggest thing they had going against them was a James Harden, Game 7 James Harden. Well, what he decided, now he didn't have a great day. He was 1 of 5 from 3. But I think smartly, he realized that he did not want. He wouldn't be the reason they won, but he definitely would not be the reason they lost. Because unlike the old Harden, Game 7 Harden, where he would keep shooting and end up with a 1 for 12 from 3 and 5 for 19 or worse from the field overall, he stopped shooting. Now, it helped that Jarrett Allen was a man possessed. When Harden or even Dwight Mitchell shot 9 of 20, 2 of 9 from 3. When these guys were missing their shots, Allen was just cleaning up the board, just absolutely cleaning up the board. 19 rebounds for Allen in only 33 minutes. 7 of 11 from the field, 8 of 14 from the free throw line, 22 points, 19 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. This guy was a man possessed. This guy was on a mission to make sure that his team did not lose. This guy wanted more basketball, and more basketball is exactly what he got. In the end, it was only a 12-point victory for Cleveland, But it felt after that third quarter where Jarrett Allen almost single-handedly led the Cavs to a 38-19 difference in the scoring, doubling up the Raptors. The Raptors got 19 points. Cleveland got 38. And even though in the fourth, the Raptors outscored Cleveland by 7 to pull within 12, it was, for all intents and purposes, it was over. It was over because it went in as a tied game into the half. And the third quarter started as a tied game, and the third quarter ended with Cleveland having a 19-point lead. So that was game 7, setting up a matchup between, much expected 1 and 4. Not the way we expected it. They didn't get there the way we expected. But the 1-4 ended up matching up on the one side. And on the other side, of course, the Knicks and the 76ers. We'd already talked about how the Knicks absolutely demolished the Atlanta Hawks, and the Sixers beating the Celtics in that game 7 a day or 2 days earlier set up this matchup against the Knicks. All right, so that's the matchup. How have things gone? Not nearly as excitedly as the first round. There was a little bit of surprise. We'll get to that in a minute. 76ers and the Knicks. The Knicks coming off of that offensive explosion in a couple of games against Atlanta continued the same, beating the Sixers 137-98, taking an 8-point lead after the first quarter, and then outscoring the Sixers by 15 in the second quarter. So 23-point lead, not enough. They poured another 8 onto that. And then in the third quarter, outscoring them 35-27, and then kept building. Fourth quarter even, with the backups. They outscored 28-20, the 76ers. Just absolutely dominating this one, 137-98. Jalen Brunson, 35.3 assists. 12 of 18 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point. Hey, remember back in the day when the Mavs drafted a teenager from Europe, Luka Doncic, and then the year after, actually, was it the same draft? It was the same draft. Later, they drafted Jalen Brunson. Somebody was saying the other day, if the Mavs, talking about Cooper Flag, if the Mavs could pair up in this year's draft, if they get lucky and get a high 3, 4, maybe a top 5 pick, if they could pair up a generational talent with a rising guard who can take the shooting load off, assist with that, shoulder some of that need to score with this generational talent, they'd be in good spot. And I was thinking, if only the Mavs had a generational talent and they could pair him up with a rising guard. If only they had a generational point guard and paired him up with a rising guard, scoring guard. Maybe, since we're being hypothetical, with the first name Jalen, last name starting with B. Yeah. But hey, history does repeat itself. We hope that it only repeats itself for the Mavs, of getting a generational player and then pairing him up with a rising guard shooter. Not all the way through the way it transpired, obviously, with Brunson now being a star for the Knicks and Luka being an injured but star for the Lakers. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight. I'm your host, Rizwan. Taking the last break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap things up. A little bit of NBA, a little bit of the W as the season got going with your very own. Yeah, Dallas team is making some noise. We'll talk about that. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight with your host, Rizwan.
This is Radio Azad, streaming in Dallas, Fort Worth, and all around the world.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो आजाद हम सफर हमजाद रेडियो आजाद
Download the free Radio Azad app on the App Store or Google Play to listen worldwide.
You don't always notice it. पहुंच के टेक्स्ट कर देना. ज़्यादा लेट मत आना. खाना खा लिया. The way she's always there. This Mother's Day, give her something she'll actually hold on to. Get up to 40% off Huma Adnan at the Amir Adnan store in Frisco.
In a city defined by style and celebration, there's a place where events become experiences. Welcome to Dallas Palms, a full-service event venue in Carrollton. 3 spacious ballrooms seating 100 to 700 guests. Glowing chandeliers and gorgeous outdoor gardens create the perfect backdrop for life's most meaningful occasions. From breathtaking weddings, sangeets, mehndis, haldis, bridal showers, birthday parties, Eid parties, Diwali parties, polished corporate gatherings to unforgettable celebrations of every kind. For details, visit DallasPalmsVenue.com or call 972-416-1416. Dallas Palms, where every event becomes a grand celebration.
Hey, bro, you want to pick up some wings tonight from